Hello and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Project S80. I've done a couple of videos on this. I'm not sure if they'll get uploaded in the right order, but if they don't, just bear with us. So in this video, this is what I'm going to be doing. Fitting these new side markers. Like I've explained, somebody used a 5-watt bulb in these, and you can't really see from here much, but it's burnt the inside of them. And these are only discontinued parts now. I think I've only paid about £3, £3.50 for these. Yeah, they're not like super duper Volvo make. I think they're deeper or something like that. But for that kind of money, may as well just change them and keep the others as spares. As well as, where is it? Remember, they're just like little 501 bulbs, but they're 3-watt ones. You've got to use 3-watt, otherwise you'll burn through them. So I'm going to change them. I've already done a few jobs on the bulbs, which I'll show once they're done. We're going to do the fuel filter. Be careful with these because there's a changeover year in 2003. Some have a metal filter, others have this one, the paper element. That's what this one has because it's underneath the car. And also we're going to be doing the pollen filter as well in a set of white blades. I'll start with the pollen filter because I've already partially got it done. So we'll take it across and I'll show you what we're doing here. Simple enough to remove. All you need is a torque screwdriver. I think this is about a T25. Underneath the glove box, this has got 2 torques. As it happens, this one had one missing, so it was just one, and it just pops out. But just be careful at this point here, where it links into there. Don't pull on too hard because you'll snap those 3 tabs off. And then it's just a case of removing these 2 little torques, same size. I think they're T25s. And what you need is, if you've got nice clean carpets, get a bit of cloth, or just you'd have to hoover the carpet off because you'll get a load of rubbish that comes down from it. So what you'll see under here, I'll try and focus under enough. See that black unit there? Just take the 2 torques off, and then it just pulls down. You have to just bear with this because I'm trying to do this with one hand. I'll come back to you when I've got it off. So that's it off. That is my mistake. There's 4 little torques, T25s. That you take off. The back ones are a little bit more difficult, but you just got to use a ratchet because you won't get the screwdriver in due to the lack of space. So put things out the way and I'll try and film the filter as it comes out. I'm looking at it. I don't think this has been changed in a while. Definitely hasn't been changed in a long time, this. The state of that. Now it's always worth keeping these before you start messing about too much in the right order. So if you can, prop it up against something. Just bet the camera. See what I mean about that mess? I mean, it'll just hoover up. Just keep it in the right order because there'll be a little arrow on it. But as you can see, that is filthy. Genuine Volvo one. Let's see if there's a date stamp on that. There. See that? 2005. It's a long time since that's been changed, and that's certainly not going to be doing no good for your heater fan, the motor, the resistor on it, and also your health, because all that's getting drawn through straight at you. So now with this, they've obviously shaped them differently. Now they've added like a little bit of foam to the top for some reason. I don't know why. I'm just going to double check to see if I can find any arrows, which there should be. There at the bottom, you see airflow. So I'm just going to confirm everything's correct and I'll come back to you. So due to the shape of them, naturally, all you need to do, if there's no arrows on the old one, so just have a look and you'll see, obviously on this side, that's where you've got all the outside dirt. That side's dirty, but there's actually nothing there. So naturally the airflow is coming in that way. So with this one we've got, it's pointing airflow that way, so you want it to be that way, and due to the shape of it you can't actually put it in wrong. So all we need to do is get it into line, and you just simply pop it up into the hole like this. I cannot get the camera to focus in properly, but you get the idea of what I'm doing. I'll show you once I've got it in place. It's got to be careful not to bend on it too much. Should just go in. See? going in, just push it the extra little way, then we get the cover put on. So there we go. That's the 4 Torx tightened. There's 2 at the front, the gold ones, 2 at the back. They're in. Now we just need to get the under tray put under. We'll get that in line. Goes in like that. Obviously there's a point there, just be careful getting that bit in, and there's 2 little spring clips, then 2 Torx. You may find I'm missing, I've only got 1 to put in, but it'll be perfectly fine. And that's how we do the pollen filter on the S80. I'll come back to you when I start on the front lights. One other thing, once you've got the pollen filter on, everything linked up, just switch your ignition on, put the fans on to full, and just check you haven't got no whistling or hissing sounds where you haven't getting the seal right. So that's that. Anyway, now we're going to get on with these side markers. What you need for these is a little plastic tool. I've already showed you these in my other videos. Trim removal tools, you can get them for pennies nowadays. The new lens and the bulbs. It's just simply a case. You don't need to go rough, don't use nothing metal. You just pop it in there and they more or less just pop out into your hands like that. And then what you do is, I'll see if I can film this from up a height, from here, so you can sort of see what I'm doing. Right, there we go. So all you do with that is give a quarter turn to take a little bit of coming out, like that. And that's the old unit there. As you can see, it's all burnt out inside. So again with this, what we'll do, get a little bit of paper, remove the old bulb. As you can see, it's all black. I don't actually think this side was even working. See, that one's been a 3-watt one, but the other side's been a 5-watt at some point. So these bulbs don't get particularly hot, but it's always advisable just to use a bit of paper while putting them in. There we go. And one other thing, before we go putting things together, just switch your ignition on. Check it works, which it is. You don't want to go put it all back together, put it into the bumper, and find it doesn't work. So that's all you do. The new one comes with, these are just cheap, you know, they're nothing flash. I'm not going to claim that they are, but for £3, they're going to look better being new. There's a little bit of protection over it there. We'll get this off. There we go. Pop it in. But I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a tiny little bit of grease. Just the tiniest bit of clear grease. Keeping that shielded from the bulb. Onto the little seal. Just to prevent any water getting in. And it'll also help it go into the new unit. Doesn't need to be much, just a little bit. Pop it in. Quarter turn, like that. Now I've just got to remember which way the other one went in. It's that way on, I think. No, it wasn't. It was this way on. Yeah, it was that way. So that just pushes against there. Just push it in a little bit, and it comes forward. And that's it. Switch it on, check it works. I think this side was working anyways. There we go. And there's your marker lights working. I'm not going to film the other side, it's exactly the same. I'll go around in a minute and I'll show you what else I've done on the lights. Do the wipers and then the fuel filter. I just thought I would show this, but somebody has put the 5-watt bulb in. As you can see, an orange bulb for some reason. Don't know why you need an orange bulb when there's an orange lens, but it's the 5-watt, and this is what it does. I don't know if you can see there how it's cracked, burnt it all around there, but around the back as well. See how it's all cracked at the bottom? I don't know if you can see that there. So just it clearly tells you W3W. It doesn't look much, but for an extra 2 watts, it really does make a difference for ruining these lenses. Right, so there we go. That's the marker light working there. This is going to be my next job. This one's steaming up a little bit, but these are dead cheap and dead easy to fix, so I'm going to try and locate a genuine or an OE quality one, and that's going to come on another video. But I've been around, I've changed the side lights to LEDs. As you know, these Volvos run the lights all the time, so I've got the LEDs in the front. I'm going to get some proper long life Osram Volvo bulbs for the dip beam that run all the time. Again, I've done that obviously there, and now I've got this marker light working. Round to the back, I took these bulbs from a car that I used to have. They're like, if you look them up, they're Osram long life bulbs, basically for Volvos and Saabs. And these little side marker lights here, they're just little 501s. They're long life ones in there, which weren't working. A lot of people don't even know they're a light on the car. So obviously you've got your backside markers are red, and you've got your front ones as orange, yellow. So they're working again, side markers. There's 2 up here that run permanently. One of them I had the type, which was the long lives as well. They've gone in, which they make up 2. The LEDs at the bottom, so make sure you don't touch that bar, because they're your stop lights, and you probably have to change the whole lamp if you damage that. And obviously we've got the 2 there. I'm in direct sunlight here, so it's very difficult trying to show you. And again, I've got these side markers here. So they're your main lights on these Volvos. I tend to find these front side markers aren't linked up to the canvas system, so they don't often come up that they're off when they are. So, and in fairness, you might think, what's the point of them? But when you've got such a big car like this, come the darker nights, when you're edging out of a junction, that's sometimes the only thing a passing car would see. And when you look, they're a big car. So when you're just sticking the nose through at the front, it could potentially, safety-wise, being a Volvo and all that, help you not end up being in a crash, you know. So that's them done. Something else in the line of bulbs, again, what I love about these old Swedish cars. There's your owner's handbook. No flicking through, messing around in the book trying to find the page for bulbs. It's straight printed on in colour on the back page. There's every bulb on the car. Stop lights, all the rest of it, reversing lights, so you go, you know, there's the indicator there. That's pointing to 2. You go to 2, tells you 21 watt. No, I've never seen a car company do. It's just simple things like that, which is one of the main reasons I like these Volvos, old Volvos and Saabs. So I'm going to move on to the wipers now. I'll just get these put away and drop the bonnet down. Right, so onto the wipers. Most people probably change wipers themselves, and they think they don't need to watch this, but there's a few things I just want to say. This is quite an old car to have these kind of wipers on. Most new cars do. So if you do go to get wipers for your car, just pay. I know this sounds really stupid, but it pays you just to have a look what's fitted to your car. And as you can see with these, they're special arms. With the clips, you know, you normally get your hook type like that. These are a unique fit. As you can see, they're absolutely falling to bits with this car standing around. And they're a clip fit, so the pull down, I'll show you a video when I do it. So what you need is the specialist wiper blades. So if you go out and you get a set of wipers and they're a couple of quid, they're the wrong ones. Simple as that. You need the exact fit. These are VF314. And as you can see, for some reason fits a Fiat Multipla as well. But then S60, down XC90, all the rest of it. But it doesn't say this car, but it will be within the list. I don't know why they only put a few on. So first of all, we'll measure them up, see if they fit. I'm just going to see if this is going to see what I'm doing. I'll just pause. Right, so now I've checked, they're the same length. It's always worth doing that before you damage or throw away any packaging. So you just check them against it, they're the same length. So all you do, these are dead easy to change. Remember, 2 points of contact, because if these drop down, you'll smash your windscreen. You just squeeze in the 2 little points and they come off. Put it gently on the screen. I'll just show you on the camera. So all you do, you just squeeze them and they come off. Put that on the floor, out the way. So with this, you obviously put the spike of the blade, I'll just bring it in. So that little spike there goes into here, and you squeeze these together and they fit underneath. When I find it under there, that little V. So let's put that back in line. There we go. So this is how easy they are to do. They just go into it, into the little blade, push it together, pop it on, job done. Easy as that. They are actually easier to fit than your standard wiper blades. But there's always a catch. There's always a catch, is the fact they are quite expensive. I mean, these cost me about 25 quid for these. Some of them are £40, some of them are £50. I had a Citroen Cactus in a few weeks ago, and they decided to put your washer jets built into these little end caps that you can't remove. I think it was about £60 for a set of wipers for it. So yeah, they're easy to fit. They do wipe well, but unfortunately, I think it's a bit of a catch-22, really. They're easy to fit and they wipe better, but they charge you a fortune. What I would suggest now is you spray your screen and give them a test, check nothing's catching, nothing doesn't seem in line. The only reason I'm not going to do that is when I was doing some work under the bonnet, a load of oil and stuff's gone up onto the screen, so I want to clean the screen before getting my new wipers contaminated. What I have got, which I'll do in another video, I haven't got them yet, that's why they're coming in the post, are these little windscreen headlight wipers. As you can see, it's hanging off. I paid a £5 for a set of them. May as well just stick them on. They're just more or less the same as a normal wiper to fit. They're just tiny, so may as well put them on. I must admit, I do like a headlight wiper. To be quite honest, they're pretty much useless, but they're just a fun little gimmick. I don't know, I just like them. Same with the 3 washer jets. The Mercedes, the ML's the same as that. Don't need 3, don't need 2, have 3 just in case one doesn't work and you've got 2 backups. That's Volvo for you. You know, glass headlights, perfect. Plastic, rubbish. So like I say, I'm going to get that sorted. Under the bonnet, I've already done a video, if you've watched this, on blanking the EGR, cleaning the MAF. I put a high flow air filter in it. I don't normally massively recommend them, but I had a brand new one that's gone in. The oil hadn't long been done. I'm not going to, at the moment, I want to put a few miles on it. It's going in on Thursday to get the air conditioning regassed. I've already mentioned that in a video. This car takes 1 kilo of gas, that's 1,000 grams, and it costs a fortune now for the gas. And ATS are doing offer on Groupon where you get them for £38, so it's going in for that. The alternator clutch pulley, the belt is drumming about and making such a noise. Common fault with these. I've just bought a special tool. May be able to do it on the car, may have to remove the alternator, but we'll see. That'll be another video, because that's making a really annoying noise. And I've got a couple of little neat tests which I'll do on a different video of how to test these vacuum pressured engine mounts to see which ones are working and which ones aren't. I'll leave that with another video. And once I get sorted, I think I'll get a genuine timing belt kit and water pump, but I'll be sending that to a specialist to do it, because we don't have none of the locking tools, and I don't get involved with them now. Too much hassle and takes up too much time. So I'll come back to you when I've got the car up on the lift, because we're going to do, wherever I've put it, the fuel filter, which I've just shown you before. So I'll come back to you very soon. So I was going to bring the car into the lift. So if you do have one of these D5s, I don't know if you can hear that like squeaking and chirping on, and you'll tend to find if you work the steering or put the air conditioning on, see how that belt there, jumping all over? What it is, it's this. That's your alternator pulley, your clutch pulley. So turn that off so you can hear. So what it is, it's this is your clutch pulley for your alternator. It's a free spinning, like a clutch basically, and it does hammer all of your tensioners and that. So hopefully with this, when I get the new clutch pulley, which will be coming on another video, I shall show you what's involved doing that. But fingers crossed it hasn't damaged the bottom crank pulley or the tensioners and idler wheels and stuff. Fingers crossed it hasn't. I think I'll probably put a new belt on while it's off, as well as doing that. So we'll get the car up in the air, and I'll show you what's involved with doing the fuel filter. Right, so this is your fuel filter at the back. Note that some of these are a metal one, some are plastic. For some reason I thought it was like a 25mm fitment here, but it isn't. So you actually need like a proper Volvo tool for these, but don't have that. Simply use an oil filter wrench. Just got to be careful with it being plastic. What I have done is made a white mark here and a white mark on the casing. You just simply unscrew them. Obviously I've got the drainer here, so will be. What you should do is loosen that off, let it drain and take it off. But again, you need a special tool, and I'm not going to mess around with that in case it breaks. So what we're going to do is, I'll try and get this lined up. I'll try to show you as best as I can what I'm doing, but that's the only angle I can get. So I'll probably end up just getting covered with diesel. At this point, bring up this, give it a turn, and there will be a big torrent of diesel. So just let it pour out. It's a good idea just to leave it like doing that. So what will happen is you'll pull the filter down and you get a face full of diesel. So just leave it while you're waiting for that to drain. We'll give this a bit of a clean. We'll have an inspection in here, in the bottom of there. I don't even know if you can see that. It seems nice and clean. What you don't want are loads of specks of, it's like when the injectors start to break down in the fuel pump. So what I want to do is, I'm just going to give this casing a rub while that's draining, and then I'll get the filter off, I'll show you. The problem is my fingers are now covered in diesel, so it makes it difficult to show you what I'm doing. And that filter has not been changed for a while. And you can see a brand on it. Yes, I can't. Volvo. Get a bit of cloth to put this on to show you. These do get dirty in time. As you can see, that looks like more like an oil filter, and if you look at it there, can you see? Don't know if you can see that, but it says Volvo on it. Give that a rub. It's even clearer now. There. Volvo. So let's just hope the guy who I got this car off and knows that it's never really been getting serviced and what he's been getting paid for, because by the looks of it, never had the pollen filter done since 2000 and whenever. This has got a date of July 2007. Can you see that there? So that's been a long time. I mean, the car hasn't done many miles, it's stood around more than it's been used. But certainly not been getting serviced. A lot of people think that just because they're not doing a lot of miles, that they don't warrant doing a service, but I think that proves a point what I'm showing here. We'll just take the old filter across to the new filter. Clearly you don't need to be a professional to see this. I'm not going to touch that on there because it's dirty, but there's your difference. So what you do is, you've got a new seal in there. Make sure you put a bit of diesel on that seal. What happens is, there's the old seal. You just take it out, check everything's okay in there, replace with a new seal. This just pushes up into the hole, and then you retighten it. So I'll come back to you when I get to that stage. So there you go, that's a new filter in place, new seal in place. Just got to put the housing in. You see I've got the white mark up there. line it up with that white mark, because obviously it's got like a torque setting, but we can't check the torque when we've got nothing to attach to it. So we'll get that put on and I'll come back to you when we prime the system. Right, that's it in place and tightened up. What it was, I forgot when I slackened it, I put a mark here. I thought to come off here, but it moved up here. So with these, you don't actually have to tighten them as such. They just reach a point when they just stop and you can't go any tighter. So when you keep turning it on, screwing it up, what you'll find is it'll reach a point and it just stops, and that's it. It's tight enough. So what you need to do now is put the ignition on. There's an electric pump in the tank to prime it. Start it up, check everything, leave it run for a couple of minutes, stop it, and then recheck around that seal. A little bit of diesel coming out's fine, but obviously if there's any major leaks, you'll need to look into that. Just be careful with some diesels, because a lot of them don't have pumps in the tank. If you dismantle these kind of things on your driveway, you'll find that you won't be able to get them started without a vacuum pump. So only tackle these diesel fuel filters if you know what you're doing. Otherwise you could end up in a bit of a bad situation where your car won't start. So then all we're going to do here is just simply switch the ignition on, and you'll be able to hear the pump. Don't know if you can hear that, but obviously, and then at the same time check for any leakages on the floor. I can hear it just going through. Don't know if you can hear anything. May be able to hear that. So all I'm going to do is just leave that to prime 2 or 3 times, give it a minute or so, and then we'll try starting it up. Right, that should be primed up now. If you do try starting it and it cuts out a few times, that's to be expected, or it might run rough for a little while. So we'll return the ignition back on, fire it up, we'll just leave it running. As you can hear the engine there you see, it stopped. So what I have to do is prime it through a few more times, then once I've got that done, I'll come back to you. So there we go, we've got it started. Well, I got it started. Looking forward to getting this done. It really does spoil the sound of this D5. Obviously the engine cover's not on, so it does make a lot more noise. Cracking engine, these really are good cars. So now it's running for a little while, which it has. We'll turn it off. And what I remember now with these is the pump only works when you put the ignition on for about 2 seconds. So what you need to do is before you do it, you need to go put it on, leave it 2 seconds till you hear it click, off, leave it, put it on, 2 seconds, and you want to do that a good 20 or 30 times, maybe even more, and that'll prime the filter. Because these have what you call a saddle tank. There's a pump inside the tank. In fact, I'll go up and I'll explain from underneath the car. So these have a saddle tank. As you can see, the exhaust goes through the centre of the tank. So like a saddle, like what you put on a horse basically, there's a pump which pumps diesel from this side to that side, and it transfers to keep the level exactly the same. So there's a pump that runs inside here, which you hear running, but there's another prime pump which fills your filter, but that doesn't run all the time. So you've got to keep, I would do a good 20 or 30 times on and off with the ignition before attempting to start it, and then that way you'll be fine. So what I'm doing here now is checking for any leaks, which is none. So there you go, that's it. So I'll leave it there for today. I'll be back to you when I've got some more content to film on the car. I will be doing other things as and when I get time. So thanks for watching. Like, comment and subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Bye.